What up, teacups? It's your fairy Vlogmother, and welcome back to part 2 of The Griffin by the Brothers Grimm. This is our second installment of Sadistic Storytime, and just so you know, I have not touched the milk. It's been staring at me and taunting me since the last episode. So we're just gonna jump right back in and get a little bit more hot sauce going on. I'm still feeling the last one, but I know that, you know, I just want to keep this kosher and legit so you all know that I'm suffering very, very sincerely throughout each of these. So we're gonna just dip this bad boy in here. Get a nice helping heaping of hot sauce. I'm shaking because it's still affecting me, but I'm gonna do it again because I'm a smart adult. Don't do this at home. Oh, there's seeds. Oh, I crunched one. That was smart. That was very smart. Again, this is Blair's Megadeth sauce. Yeah, Megadeth. They have Ultra Death too. That's for another time, when I've grown a pair. Alright, so let's just jump right back in. So when we sorry, makes it hard to talk. So when we last left our heroes, Hans and Princess Johnsina, the douche king had just given Hans the additional task of making a boat which can go faster on land than it can in the water, before he will let Hans and the princess get married. So Hans, being entirely too sportsmanlike, heads home and tells his daddy and his brothers Yuli and Sham the whole story. But instead of being any kind of decent, his father sends Yuli out into the woods to build this thing himself so he can become king instead. So Yuli's whistling and he's working on some kind of boat-shaped blunder when none other than the little Iron Man comes strolling by. And Mr. Stark takes one look at Yuli's wood heap and rightfully asks, what the fuck is going on here? It's the same question I'm asking myself right now. And what is Yuli's response after the whole Frog's Lake incident last time? Wooden bowls, duh! At which point Tony is just like, you know what? Okay, sure, whatever. They're wooden bowls. Fine. Now remember how Hans' family loves calling him dumbass Hans? Well, I think sometimes stupid people like to pretend that everyone else around them is actually dumber than they are, so they can pretend to be smart. Because clearly, no one's learning anything in Casa de Yuli right now. And wouldn't you know it, here's Yuli, sweaty, all tired, splintered up, trying to hoist himself into his brand new land boat, only to find himself sitting in a pile of wooden bowls. Shocking, I know. I'm pretty sure we all know how it went with Sham, though I'm thinking he just straight up made a pile of wooden bowls, because who the fuck knows how to make a boat go faster on land than it does in the water anyway? Well, not Sham, let's suffice that to say. So Hans graciously ignores the fact that his brothers don't respect the bro code and gets to work on his own impossible boat. And him and his chirpy little ass are shaving away at some tree trunks when Mr. Definitely Not Tony Stark comes up and asks him what he's up to. And Hans says, I'm making a boat which will go faster on land than it does in the water for our douche canoe king, good sir. And Tony just looks at Hans and his pile of wood shavings and leans up against the tree and says, kid, just make a regular boat, add some wheels, and cut a hole in the bottom, and then Flintstone your ass back to the castle and kiss that nice young lady for me, will you? And Hans is like, okay, dope. And Tony's like, no problem, kid, I didn't even need my engineering degree for that one. That's the best solution I could come up with, okay? Bear with me. So Hans takes his Flintstone frigate and books it to the castle to present the king with his new canoe Impossible. But the king is fixing to send Princess Pex to the Olympics at this point and isn't ready to give her up just yet, so he fixes Hans with another task. He says, take these 100 bunnies out to pasture from dawn till dusk. If you lose even one of these furry little shits, then you are SOL, pal. No marriage, no nothing. And for some damn reason, Hans agrees to this as well. Personally, I would have asked Princess Protein Shake to just pile drive the king at this point, but this is him and not me. This is this is Hans's life. I don't know what Sham is doing in his life, but this is Hans's life, not mine. And so Hans takes his 100 royal rabbits and herds them out to pasture. Hans somehow keeps all of them sitting pretty for the first few hours. And then a servant from the castle comes up demanding a hare to serve to some unexpected guests of the palace. And Hans tells this servant to shove it and serve them Hot Pockets instead. And the servant gets all snippety at Hans and then Hans tells her that if the princess herself asks for one, then he will oblige. And so the servant runs off to get the princess. And in the meanwhile, Iron Man yet again shows up and asks Hans what the hell he's gotten himself into now. And Hans explains that this is the king's latest douchery to him. And now Mr. Stark and Jarvis, they take a moment and discuss their options, and they decide to fashion a high-tech bunny whistle right then and there just on the spot for Hans, and also for the shits and giggles. And so Mr. Stark gives the whistle to Hans and says, "This whistle here is specially tuned to attract rabbits for days, kid. Good luck," says Tony. And so out comes the princess, who totally isn't using this as an opportunity to talk to her fiancé or anything, and asks for one of the bunnies. And so Hans plops the little cutie pie down into her apron, but before she can take 100 steps, he blows the bunny whistle and the rabbit springs out her apron and bolts back to the flock with the others. And the princess is like, "Oh no, it's not like I can just walk back there and try this again or whatever, so I'ma just leave. I'ma just leave now," says the princess, and walks back to the castle. And at dusk, Hans blows the whistle once more and herds all 100 bunnies back to the palace. But the king has one final trial for Hans, which we will recount in the third and final episode. Again, thank you all so much for watching. That milk is becoming sassier and sassier as I do this. I will not be drinking it until the end of the next episode, and I will be taking more hot sauce when we come back. So please tune in next week for the thrilling conclusion of The Griffin by the Brothers Grimm. And once again, thank you all so much for watching, and please check out the poll in the description below or leave me a comment, and who knows, your wishes might get granted. Toodles!